Sham, let Aretro in.
Huh?
Just do the admin.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, it's time. I think we should start ahead. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time and joining our Q&A session. We are the Indian Students Association from the University of Alberta. Just some housekeeping items for the viewers who are watching. If you have any questions that you would like to ask us during the live session, please log into slido.com and you can join our session and keep adding more questions so that we can answer you as much as we can. I'm just giving you a minute to open the Slido. So when you do log into slido.com, the number that you have to type is 75952. All right, let's get rolling. Um, so thank you so much again for taking your time and for choosing to be part of our Q&A session. So I just want to give an overview of what we are as an organization. As you have known so far, we are the Indian Students Association from the University of Alberta. Um, our main aim is to create and extend support for cultural awareness among the students. We still want to be recognized and extend our support to students who want to feel um, like they are still at home, even though they've traveled so far and have come here to make a better life for themselves. We also do endorse participation in a lot of campus recreational activities so that we can promote a lot of international bonding. Our objectives and goals include promoting awareness of the Indian culture among the student community. U of A has a broader outreach, and there's just so many international students, and we take real pride in showing what Indian culture is. And we also do extend mutual support for the Indian community in and around Edmonton. We also provide platform to participate in campus activities through cultural events. So we also make sure that the students stay in contact with the Indian community at large. If you choose to join us for a membership, we do offer some benefits for you. We have bi-weekly newsletters where we provide information regarding housing, um, things that are happening in and around campus and in Edmonton. We also give you a member card. So that enables you to have access to our events, also have subsidized value on the event tickets that we'll be selling. We also have member exclusive only events. Then we also are partners with a lot of restaurants and stores, and you can avail discounts through the membership card. We are also we also have contacts with a lot of flight booking agencies and driving agencies, so you can still avail the services. We also provide assistance with finding roommates, housing opportunities, other volunteering opportunities. We're also part of several societies in Edmonton, like the Council of India Societies of Edmonton, which also promote Indian culture and integrity. And at last, only the members in the Indian Students Association can participate in the elections. Um, and I'm super happy to introduce all to our panel members today for the Q&A session. Um, I'm Priyanka Maripuri. I'm the president for this year. I'm a graduate student in the Department of Medical Genetics, Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. I will be your host tonight, and INDSA is happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. Jeffrey?
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, and I'll be one of your panel members for tonight. So I'm the INSA Vice President Finance for this year, and I'm currently studying economics, doing my master's within the Faculty of Arts. So I'm happy to meet you all and answer your questions.
Jaspreet?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jaspreet. I'm the Secretary of INSA for this year. I'm currently pursuing my undergrad degree in computer science, specialization in software practice, and I'd love to answer your doubts regarding undergrad computer science and anything else that you may have.
Gokul?
Hi guys, I'm Gokul Siddharthan, and I'm in undergraduate engineering, and I'm going into second year, looking to get into software engineering. And you guys can ask me any questions regarding engineering that's in undergraduate level or any general questions.
Tanoshi?
Hello everyone, I'm Tanushree. I am the VP Student Life for this year. My major is land reclamation. I love connecting with people and I'm really looking forward to helping you today. Thank you so much.
Mehul?
Hi everyone, my name is Mehul Chaudhary and I'm the Executive Director of Membership and Outreach for INSA. And I'm currently doing Bachelor of Commerce in Human Resource Management. First of all, I'd like to say welcome to the University of Alberta. And so as you know, as you might have joined, you might have a lot of questions and I'm happy to answer all of your questions here. Thank you.
Sham?
Hi everyone, my name is Sham and I'm currently EDIT for the INDSA this year. I'm doing my master's in electrical and computer engineering and specialization in software engineering. You can ask me any doubts regarding the job after the engineering, completing your engineering, and also there are any part-time jobs which you need in like right after coming to Canada. And my hobbies are playing online games, cooking, and face painting. Thank you.
Mehek?
Greeting to everyone watching us live today. I am Mehak Seth and I'm pursuing finance at the Alberta School of Business. I'm also the Executive Director of Finance for INSA 2021. So I'm from the city of Nawabs, Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh, and congratulations to everybody who's received admission at the U of A. I'll be happy to answer all your questions and I hope you'll feel much more confident about coming to Canada after this webinar. Thank you.
Rohit?
Hey guys, Rohit here. So I am Vice President for the events this year for INSA. So basically I completed my graduation in civil engineering way back at home, at Mysore, Karnataka. So currently pursuing my final term in transportation engineering. So you can reach me out for any questions, any doubts regarding those. Please contact me at the email ID that I already mentioned there. Thank you.
Aretro?
Hi, so I'm Arithro Ghosh and I'm in my third year of undergraduate degree, double majoring in history and political science. And I'm from Kolkata, India. Feel free to ask me about anything about the university because I feel like I've been here and been involved long enough to know a lot of the things. And I know how uncertain things are, especially now with COVID and how uncertain all of you are. I myself had a lot of questions. So it's totally fine. No matter how unimportant you think a question is, feel free to ask it. We'll answer everything.
Praniti?
Hi everyone, my name is Pranidhi Badam. I am the Executive Director for Sports for INSA this year. I'm doing my PhD in Medical Sciences with a neural biology specialization in the Department of Dentistry. And I'm looking forward to answering most of your guys' questions. I'll be talking a little bit about immigration as well as just student life. And I hope to kind of ease your nerves a little bit of coming to Edmonton. So yeah.
We do have another panel member without a profile. Costa, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining INSA today. I'm glad Priyanka organized this session so that you guys could get a better handle on how things are going on over here, especially as Pranidhi also mentioned, these times are uncertain and we don't know how we'll proceed further. Let's hope a cure comes out soon. But about me, I am doing my master's in electronics. It's optoelectronics. I'm in my second year. So if you guys have any questions regarding masters in electronics or job placements, feel free to contact me or Shyam, as he said. Thank you for joining us again.
So let's get right into it. I have just arranged a small information session on the general topics like the weather or what do you need to get here before you move to Edmonton. So my team will take you through it and then we'll get right into the Q&A session. Tanushi, you have the floor.
So hello everyone. So for travel documents is one of the most important things that you need to bring along when you're traveling to Canada. First of all, the most important thing is your passport, your Indian passport that you need to carry with you. You need your study permit, which you will receive at the at your port of entry to in Canada, or if you also applied for a work permit in terms of like co-op or something like that, you will receive that too when you arrive in Canada. You would need your University of Alberta acceptance letter, which is one of the most important things because you might have to go to the you might have to like submit it somewhere. You would, if you are staying on campus, then you would need a residence acceptance letter. Your bank account details if you applied through the STS process, which required you to make a GIC account. Then this is this is from my personal experience. I instead of carrying a lot of foreign currency, I took a forex card from a bank to help me with like while I was traveling and when I reached Canada, I didn't have to worry about handling too much currency in my hand. And then it would be a really good idea to have a travel insurance, but that's something that you should look into when you're closer to booking your tickets. um, if you plan on staying if you plan on staying in a hotel, then it's a good idea to get a printed copy of your hotel bookings in case your phone dies or you don't have access to your laptop or something like that. From my and this last thing, I think it's based on my personal experience. In my first year when I was traveling, I took a matrix card, which is like a sim number, international sim number, because I didn't want to rush myself into getting a Canadian number when I reached Canada. So I thought it was a good idea to have a matrix card for the initial month and then switch to a Canadian number. So if you don't want to rush into things, then it's a good idea to get a matrix card. Thank you.
Yeah, let's go ahead with the admissions and GPA.
Okay, I'll take over. So in regards to the admission GPA and the for the post-secondary students coming in right now, basically the gist is that secondary students applying to an undergraduate or graduate program, the grades for the winter courses that were taken will not be included in the admission GPA. If you can show that there's passing grades for that winter semester that was basically just considered as credit or not for credit due to COVID, that will be acceptable. In terms of final grades, if a student is unavailable to provide final documentation due to school closure or anything like that, the U of A is willing to accept grades and existing interim documents that will at least present to the U of A that you have the requirements needed to get admission. And if you would like more details on what's going to happen for fall 2020, the U of A is uploading information as it comes on this website. So I think this presentation is going to be uploaded on the INDSA webpage. So once you have it, you are more than welcome to click on the website and go and look at the upcoming information as it is changing very constantly.
Tanushi?
Yes. So, health insurance. So, health is a really important thing. And during COVID, like it's one of the factors that must be, like one of your biggest questions right now. So, as soon as you reach Canada, you will have access to the Alberta Health Card, which you need to apply as soon as you reach, like within 90 days of reaching Canada. It is completely free. You just have to go and apply for it. That will cover physicians and hospitals all over Alberta. In most cases, if you present your Alberta health card to out of province medical or hospital service providers, they won't cost you anything. You would also have access to the Alberta health card insurance plan if you are above 18 years old. If you are less than 18 years old, you would have to register with the University of Alberta health insurance plan. The university also provides supplementary coverage for eye and dental care. These supplementary coverage are not eligible for exchange students, but you get like enrolled for it as soon as you like if you're an incoming student, full-time incoming student, then you get registered for it automatically. You can also, as I said before, that you can apply for your own personal insurance when you travel from India, which is a really good idea for the first few days till you get your Alberta health card, or you can access your University of Alberta health insurance plan. You can go on the UAlberta website to actually look into it more and get more information about it. And if you have any other further questions, then you can always like ask us or or ask the university. Thank you.
Tanushi?
Yes, one card. So it's one of the most important things because it's your University of Alberta official identification card. You would need it when you're giving exams or when you're using any sort of public transport. So you will receive this card when you arrive on campus, and when you arrive on campus, the university is going to organize some way for you to get it. Initially, it was during fall, and if you plan on traveling during winter semester because of the current situation, then the university will guide you further closer to your arrival date in Canada. You can upload cash to your one card, which can be used on a lot of places on campus. Like it can be used for printing, or it can be used for food and all of those sorts of things. I would say one card is a really good cash is a really good thing, because I don't like to carry cash all the way around, and you can purchase things really easily by using it. Yes, so that's about the one card. UPass. So UPass is the University of Alberta Transit Pass. Um, it basically allows you to you're charged fees for it in your like when you're paying the fees for your like your whole semester. Like when you're paying your fees, they charge you for it, and you can use it for the LRT and the buses by just showing your UPass. It's like a sticker which is supposed to be on your one card, and it's supposed to be shown to all the bus um, the like in when you travel through buses or when you take the LRT, anything. And yeah, it would change from fall to winter semester. In fall term, it would be valid from August 25th to December 31st, and then you'll receive a winter UPass, which will be valid for Jan 1st to April 30th, and then you can receive a spring and summer one too. So you will get a new sticker each and every term, and it will help you move around Edmonton on the whole. So, the International Student Services, it's one of the most important things, according to me, because when I arrived on campus, I was supposed to do a check-in with the International Student Services, and I'm sure the university will organize something like that for you all as well. It's basically there to help international students with any immigration, travel, employment, housing inquiries. They can help you with your study permit, any work permit applications, any questions you may have. They are the best people to contact. Um, so you should definitely visit them once you arrive at the university, because they will really help you out throughout your university life.
So ISS also provides services regarding work permits and how to apply for work permits. So just keep that in mind. Mehak?
No, it's me.
Okay, so I think this has to be taken by Pranadi.
Yes. Sorry. So in terms of immigration, I think Tanushi just gave a broad introduction about study permits. So if you want to know a little bit more on the Government of Canada side, I've posted links here, and I don't want to repeat what Tanushi just said, so it's all just here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about work permit after graduation. So students are available to apply for a work permit after their graduation to work in Canada. The process is in this link as well, and there are different regulations based on how long your undergraduate program was, or grad program for that sake. So I'd say carefully take a look at that and go accordingly. The next step in terms of work permit immigration is the permanent residence. So here I've provided you with a link to test your eligibility, because everyone's going to be different in terms of whether you're eligible for permanent residence and how long it will take you. So the Government of Canada does have a website where you can check for your eligibility, which I've provided you here as well. And then for citizenship, the gist with citizenship is that once you get your permanent residence, you need to be in Canada for 3 out of the 5 years to apply for citizenship, in addition to other factors. So also a link is provided in this as well. Priyanka, if you could forward the slide, please. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the permanent residence aspect. There are two things that are really taken into account when you're looking into permanent residence. The terminology is the Canadian Language Benchmark and the National Occupation Code. These are two of the criteria. There's others, but these are two of the criteria that are used in order to determine what area of permanent residence you can apply through in terms of what stream. So the first one is looking at your English language ability. So either you have to write a test for proving your proficiency, or your education in Canada would be sufficient. So it's based on, again, which situation you stand in. And then in terms of the National Occupation Code, that is again related to the kind of job you're looking for, or the jobs that you might want to do. Again, there's several different levels, and I've also provided a summary. So if you go to the next slide, Priyanka. Yeah, so here's like a broad overview of what the Government of Canada website has. So it divided into the different eligibility criteria, your education, your language skills, the type of work experience you have, and the amount of work experience. So, for example, the CLB stands for the language proficiency that I was talking about, and the NOC is for the occupation code. And you can kind of put yourself in these criterias and see where you stand, and then the process is outlined online as well. Yeah, next, I think.
Mehak?
Yeah, so we received a lot of questions regarding clubs, extracurriculars, student groups, student associations, and organizations at the U of A. And I would say that the one-stop shop for everything is the Students' Union website. So, what is the Students' Union? It is the official student representative body at the U of A, and it also acts as a strong advocate for students at the university and at all levels of government as well. So when we talk about clubs at the U of A, the university offers more than 400 unique student-run organizations and clubs, varying from, and it gives a variety of interests, hobbies, culture, and much more. So I'm pretty sure if you navigate well, you'll come across something that interests you and suits your hobbies. Now, since a lot of things are going on in the university on a day-to-day basis, how the SU has done something to make it easier for students to stay updated and connected to the activities and events. SU maintains Bears Den. So what is Bears Den? It's basically an online portal for student involvement at the U of A. And you can simply log in to Bears Den by using your CCID and password, which you would get once you've been admitted to the U of A. And once you're in Bears Den, you can get to know about all non-academic and co-curricular activities that are going on campus. Also, the Students' Union organizes a club fair. It is organized twice a year, once in the fall term and the other one in the winter term. This is a great opportunity to get to know about more and more clubs, and also many a times there are new clubs introduced in the university. So attending the clubs fair, if you get an opportunity to attend the clubs fair, that will be a great day to look for something that interests you. When we talk about extracurriculars as first years in the university, once you get into these clubs and student organizations, you will get an array of volunteering opportunities, because each club and organization holds a lot of events throughout the year. They are looking for volunteers apart from their executive team as well. So that is a way to be involved in the community. Apart from that, in order to stay updated with events and activities going on, you can subscribe to newsletters that the university sends. They are sent weekly or bi-weekly, and that's a great way to stay updated. And they also send important notices that you should know. So as first years, and that's completely understandable, because you might be curious to know, and you might want to know the lifestyle and student life at the university too. So subscribing to newsletters is a great way. Also, in Bears Den, there are a lot of organizations and clubs, so you can filter out the types of student organizations that you want, and that'll pinpoint to the clubs and organizations that you are looking for. So that will be for the clubs and extracurriculars, and I'm sure once you step on to the campus, you'll pave your way throughout it. That will be about it.
Jaspreet?
Okay, the science internship program. I know many people have questions regarding this because so did I. The science internship program is basically the co-op version, but for faculty of science. And there are requirements that you need to make sure that you fulfill before you think about working and finding internships. You could be in general specialization or an honors degree, but you need to make sure you are a full-time undergrad student in the Faculty of Science. You have to complete a minimum of 24 credits to enter SciWorks. Now, SciWorks is the platform where you register and then you check for placements. 24 credits, usually a course is 3 credits, but it's different for different faculties and different courses. So you have to make sure that you check how many courses you're doing. And even after you make your account on Cyworks, you still need to have 48 credits to go on a placement. And you shouldn't do more than 105 credits. So you should have 3 courses by the time you come back from your internship and continue with your university. You need to make sure that you have a GPA standing of 2.3. Now, this is a GPA that has been used for the past few years. It could change, but that's the average that they've given us till now. And if you're applying in the winter semester for your science internship program, they will check your GPA for the fall semester. So you have to take care of that. And you have to make sure that you get your work permit before you apply for your positions. Now, how do you apply for the science internship program? Your first step would be to create an account with Cyworks. This is easily accessible. You just Google Cyworks U Alberta, and the first link is where you have to go. They will ask for your CCID and password, and I'm pretty sure if you've got admission at the University of Alberta, you have those by now. And this is very important. They will ask you to choose a program that you want to apply through. And even if you have a double major like computer science and business, let's say, make sure you choose either one of them. You can't apply for computer science and business, but you shouldn't feel discouraged, because after you make your account, you can still view all the job postings, like for business, for medicine, like everything. And don't create more than one account, because you're at a loss. They'll just select any one account and delete the rest. So make sure you choose the program that you're most interested in, and you upload your most recent transcript, and you wait for the team to assess your profile, and they'll get back to you, usually within 2 weeks. And yeah, that's it. Once they confirm it, you will be able to see the job postings on the portal. Now, for internships, I mentioned earlier that you need to get your work permit before you go for your positions. Now, what can you do about the situation? Once you make your SciWorks account and you are entered in the science internship program, as in you meet all the requirements, you will receive a letter that supports your work permit application. And don't apply for internships in September or like August, and expect to get it the next month, because the work permit application takes around 4 months. So if you're searching for an internship in the summer, make sure you start applying for it the previous year, or start searching for it the previous year. And only a co-op or intern work permit can be used for a co-op or intern placement. If you are working on the U Alberta campus, you do not need to apply for a co-op or intern work permit. But if you're going anywhere beyond that, they will make sure to ask you that. And if you have any more questions regarding this, which are like more specific, you could always contact the International Student Services, and they would be more than happy to help you.
So let's move on to the Q&A session. So just before that, if you have any questions, I suggest you you go into slido.com, slido.com. The session number is 75952, and you can input your questions there. So I'm just gonna go from the popular questions to the most recent ones. Just gonna stop my sharing. Amazing. So the first popular question is, how does co-op work? How to reach out to companies? and what companies come to you, Alberta? How much work experience do we need and earn? Jaspreet?
Okay, so I can mostly answer for the Faculty of Science. There are companies out there that hire people for Faculty of Engineering or the other ones. There are around 33 to 34 companies if we're talking about computer science and IT in general. But I do know that Alberta does provide work experience in stuff like engineering, which is computer engineering, or mechie, agriculture, and such. So you could always, if you need to, you could always contact your department and they would also be willing to help you, like to let you know where exactly you can work. But if you're talking about computer science, there are 22 companies that collaborate with the University of Alberta for the science internship program. And some of the well-known companies are IBM Canada, Canadian Tire, Google, and Microsoft. And even though there are so many companies that give you this opportunity, you need to make sure that you give in your best, because University of Alberta is a very competitive school, and you need to make sure that you show the employers why they should hire you. And you could also always apply on job like pages like LinkedIn, Indeed. Like you could go and check in your area which job opportunities are present, and that should be it.
Gokul, would you like to add some more for the co-op?
Yeah, so I can speak for engineering. So for undergrad engineering, there's an option called co-op engineering when you choose a discipline. So when you choose a discipline, if you there's traditional and there's co-op. So if you choose co-op, what uh, U Alberta does, actually Faculty of Engineering does, is there's this website called Place Pro. So after you meet with the counselor, what you do is you select companies that you want that uh, you want them to interview. So what happens is once you give your options, the companies rank based on your interviews and your performance in uni, and also your profile. And in case you do not get an uh, you do not get a placement in any of the companies, or you do not get a position in any of the companies, what happens is the university is given permission to send out your profiles to any random company, so that you get a guaranteed opportunity to get first-hand experience. So that's what happens in terms of in engineering.
It's amazing. Will online classes be recorded, and can we have access to them anytime? Mehul?
Yes, it really depends on what your professor or instructor says about what your online classes are going to look like. Some of the professors prefer to have their classes online or recorded. Some of the instructors will rather prefer to do it live for reasons such as discussions, engagement, and all that. But if you want to know for certain if your class is online or not, I would highly suggest you to go and contact your instructor, shoot them an email. You can find their email at the Bear Trucks account, or look up their name on the U Alberta contract registry. Shoot them an email, ask them if the lecture is recorded or not. If it isn't, then you can go ahead and register in classes that will be recorded. So again, go and write an email to your professor, ask them how the instruction's going to be like, and that's about it. Yeah.
Hmm. I have received unconditional offer letter. I wanted to know if the scholarships allotted to me are final or can be changed or cancelled based on my results. Praniti?
Yeah, so I'm assuming this is mostly on the grad student level with scholarships being offered. If they are a tri-council scholarship, there is the ability to defer them to a later term, if that is something. And when I mean tri-council, I mean an NSERC, a CIHR, or a SH SHIRK. Yeah, so if they are anything related to tri-council, you can defer them. If they are more in relation to like a GRAF, which is fellowship that's given to you by the university or your department, I would say the best person to contact would be your department to really figure out whether they're going to be allowing you to defer it or not.
Yeah, and I can also answer it if it's for the undergraduate level. So I myself had gotten scholarship in my first year. So the way most scholarships at the University of Alberta work is that they're, rather than scholarships which are 4 years long, they work like usually based, like they're 1 year at a time most of the time. So what happens is you can reapply for specific awards or apply for other awards, and they'll depend on your GPA. If you do have an award that is longer than 1 year, let's say it's like for the duration of your degree, then it does depend on your GPA. If your GPA falls at the university, then they might take your scholarship away from you.
Okay. How can we connect with our peers virtually? Mehak?
Yeah. So I know it might be a great concern for everybody because most of us are not coming to university anytime soon. So as far as the fall term is concerned, before the session starts, you might get an email from the university saying that these are your peers, like the common classes that you have, and you might get a way to connect to them. Apart from that, a short way is that once you are enrolled in your classes, you can see the participants, you get to know your classmates, and they have their bios updated. So you can look out for common interests and connect with them through email and then on other social media platforms as well. Also, you can visit the SU website, because if you need certain kind of help, special help, they will be able to provide you with that.
Amazing. Most of the time, departments are a great way to connect to your peers because they will let you know who are with you in your class. So it's much more easier that way to know people from your faculty and your department. What are the various deadlines like fee payment now after having accepted the offer? Tanushi?
Hello. So the fee payments. The fee payment for the fall semester is gonna be September 30th. This is according to 2019 records. So I don't know if it's gonna be the same this year, but it would be around that date. For winter, it should be Jan 31st. Jan 31st, and for if you're taking any spring and summer courses, then it would depend accordingly. I know for summer semester it would be around 9th, so 9th of July. But for fall, then, but these dates are like these dates are not set, so you would have to look into that more closer to the date, and you would have to check your bear tracks for it. So that should help.
Jeffrey, do you have something to add to that?
What was the question? Sorry.
So what's the last date to accept the fee payment after offering the admission?
Right. So the deadline for fee payments is usually the end of the month the semester begins. So that would be September 30th for fall and January 31st for winter. But the course add drop deadline without getting a penalty of a grade of W would be the middle of the month. So I think it's after 10 days of 10 business days of classes. So I think for fall 2020, that would be September 16th. So until that day, you can add and drop classes freely, and you can explore and pick which classes fit your schedule best or suit your interests the most.
What are the important things we should pack in our luggage? Mehak, I know you have, but can you please reiterate?
Yeah. So to all the parents who are watching us live, you must have heard that winters are pretty harsh in Canada, but trust me, there's nothing to be panicky about. You don't need to worry about it. So certain essential items that you need to pack before coming, mostly winter clothes, I'd say, and you need to get enough jackets, mufflers, gloves, beanies, all those sorts of things. But there are a few days in September which might get a bit warm. So don't don't just pack winter clothes. Be ready for a few warmer days. So that will be for clothes. Now, once you get your if you're living on campus, you will get your residence room details, and that will give you what is provided in the room and what's not provided. So you can pack according to that, get your bedding according to your mattress size. Of course, you can buy it in Canada, but just to start with, you might not have that much time to go out and buy all those sorts of stuff. So you can get a set or two. Next important thing is that we forget to get power plugs and adapters according to the voltage and frequency standards of Canada. So be sure that if you can get it from India itself, you can buy it here. But as I said, you might not get so much time in the beginning to buy all this stuff. I would say that stationery sometimes gets expensive over here, and if you want, you can. That's a personal choice, but if you want, you can get some stationery as well. And emergency medicines and first aid. So when you're traveling on plane, they allow you to get medicines, but if you're keeping them in your carry-on luggage, you need to get a prescription as well with it. Otherwise, they don't allow you to take it, especially if it's a liquid medicine. So you can get emergency medicines and a small first aid kit with yourself. As Tanushi mentioned, you need to take care of your travel documents really, really well, and you need to get them sorted before boarding the flight. You need to know what you have, what you don't have, and where you have it. So that has to be organized really well. Now, if you're someone who is a real, you cannot stand bland food and you really want Indian taste in your food, I recommend do get Maggi masala packets and Maggi with yourself. And also, it might take you a few days to adjust to the taste over here. And if you applied for the university meal plan, then I think that becomes necessary for the first few days. Also, when I'm talking about documents, you might have got a lot of documents from the university before coming at the time of your admission, say it, or it can be tuition fee payment proof, residence letter, your admission letter. So you have that in your as a software copy, but you should get a hard copy again, because you never know when you need it. That will be it. And one suggestion is that if you're coming in fall, we do not expect snow before mid-October, although it's quite unexpected, but it's generally after mid-October. So I recommend that buy your winter jackets and snow boots in Canada itself, because you might not get it in India before August. And it's better to get it in Canada, keeping in mind the quality and the weather conditions over here, so you get it according to that. So these are some of the essentials that you'll be needing, and almost everything is available over here, and it's just a few Indian things that you might want to keep. That's it.
Please keep in mind special tips from the INSA execs about the Maggi masala. So, what's the final date of paying the tuition fee after one has received the acceptance? So the deadline for applicants to pay the tuition fee deposit has been extended from the 1st of May to the 1st of June, which was a month back. So if you haven't paid the deposit yet, I suggest you contact the university for more information. It's all crazy right now due to the COVID, and I'm sure university can make an exception if it's possible. Where do first year students, if not for COVID, usually work in the city? Arithro? You can talk about the on-campus jobs.
Yeah, so basically the university does a lot of jobs the university itself provides, so you can work on campus. I myself worked on campus. I also have a lot of friends that work off campus and are working off campus, so there's a lot of jobs. You can work in restaurants and cafes, and there's just a whole lot of places. You'll find it out over here. The moment you come, if you really want a job, you should create a LinkedIn profile, of course. That's one of the basic requirements. But most of the time, just keep looking for availabilities and look up online on certain pages. There's the West Edmonton Mall, which is the biggest mall in North America. And I have a friend that's working there, and it's all about looking for availabilities for jobs. which you can only do once you're here and you have the online resources. For jobs on campus, honestly, like the university hires most of the time throughout the year. They have different types of jobs, from working in the university's restaurants to working for the university's varsity team, which I was doing, for working for a specific department. And if you're a master student and stuff, or if you're at a high, like if you're a transfer student, you can be working for your professor, under your professor and stuff as well. Also, I would like to say that, yeah, Jeffrey will definitely speak about it too. But personally, from my experience, if you're a first year student, I would definitely not recommend working right away, because it does take time to adjust to university and it does take time managing your grades. And I myself, I really needed to work for financial reasons and other reasons as well. So I would definitely recommend, definitely don't work on your first semester. Start looking for jobs from your second semester or second year, preferably. I'll hand it over to Jeffrey now.
Jeffrey?
Hey, that's a great question. So, in terms of working on campus, there's a lot of different opportunities available depending on what your needs are, but I highly recommend what Aretha said. Don't worry about working your first year, just figure out um, the university environment, the campus, what you're studying, if you actually like what you're studying, and get into that vibe first, because school should come first, your grade should come first. But when it comes summertime and you have 4 months off and you're not sure whether to go back to India or find a job, um, there's a lot of different options for you. So I've worked in, had friends work in with the campus recreational service, which is different from varsity sports in that it runs year round. So it's mostly evening and weekend work. I've had friends who've worked with facility services, which does different jobs and responsibilities around campus in terms of maintenance. So it depends really on your interests. There's a lot of restaurant jobs available too. White Avenue is nearby and very easily accessible, just walking distance in the summer, one bus ride away in the winter. Westernton Mall has buses operating till 3 a.m. between the campus and the mall itself. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to find a job. So in terms of where you want to work, it depends on your interests and what you're willing to do and who's hiring. But I would recommend, like, if you can get a job in your field or something that's somehow connected to your field, so that it can sort of serve as an internship or give you work experience in the industry you want to go into, that would be your ideal. But if you're kind of in survival mode, just trying to take any job available so you can pay your bills and such, then there's a lot more options out there for you. So it's just a matter of building up your resume by getting involved. So volunteer where you can, be friendly with your professors, make friends, befriend people who are in leadership positions, people who can vouch for you, give you references, that kind of thing. So that when you're ready to actually start job hunting, then you'll have a lot of resources to draw upon, a lot of people to call upon, and you can make yourself stand out as a candidate when you hit the job market.
Amazing. How to plan 14-day mandatory quarantine when I arrive in Canada? How can I reach from airport to the residence outside of the university during COVID? So the mandatory 14-day residence is applicable till the end of September as per the Government of Canada. And regarding the airport transportation, Tanishi can talk about ISS.
Sorry, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
ISS transportation, pick up from the airport.
Yes. So as soon as you reach the like the Edmonton airport, there should be a airport check-in point where you'll be received by students from the ISS, and they would like you would have to register for it beforehand. So they'll probably send you an email and ask you like, would you like a free ride back to the place that you want? And they have like a list of hotels, and like if you're planning on staying on campus, then they would give you like, if you're planning on going to the residence that you booked, then they would drop you off over there, and they'll just ask you for like your name, and then they'll make you wait for the shuttle for a bit, and then you'll be you'll get a free ride back home, and that's amazing because you'll save yourself around $40. So yeah, so they would organize that, and they should probably send you an email about it sooner to your arrival, as I said before. Yeah.
Is there any temporary residence facility on campus after arrival for international students? Retro?
Yeah, so there's no temporary residence facility for international students as per se. However, nearby, like literally, it's pretty much on campus. There's this hotel called Campus Star Hotel. You can look it up. It's literally like the university is right across it. So you can stay there for a night or two or however long you need to do. Because when I came with my family, we stayed at Campus Star Hotel before I got to move into Lister myself. On normal circumstances, Lister residents themselves in Schaefer Hall at times do accommodate people, just random guests, for on a payment basis. I think it's approximately around $60 a night. Uh, but yeah, I don't know if that service will be open in fall itself because of the whole COVID scenario. I know Campus Star Hotel is open, so if you do need a place to stay or you need your family to stay nearby on campus essentially, then I would definitely recommend Campus Star Hotel.
Trinity, do you want to comment on the ETS service from the airport?
Yeah, so in addition to the ISS organizing transportation and things like that, if you are coming in a time where ISS is not available to organize transportation, there's also Edmonton Public Transit. There's a bus that runs from the airport to a very prominent LRT line, which is like the train line. And then you can take that, come to the train line, and also just take a taxi from there, which would be much cheaper than coming from the airport. Or you could also bus it. With luggage, it's probably a taxi is better, but there's that option as well.
How are soccer facilities on campus? Can I play outdoor sports like soccer during winter months? Jeffrey?
So I think the soccer resources on campus are pretty great. But the thing is, Edmonton is a winter city. It's a snow city. So from November till March, the outdoor fields are not particularly accessible unless you like snow inside your shoes. But Campus Rec has a great program where they organize the teams and provide the field right adjacent to the campus behind the Lister Center. And all you have to do is sign up. So out of all the soccer leagues in Edmonton, it is definitely the cheapest, and it's meant only for students and alumni. So it's an advantage. It's something you can take advantage of in the fall and in the summer. But for indoor soccer, the Butterdome is available if you're comfortable playing indoor. So the Butterdome is also known as the University Pavilion. So I think it's the size of 13 school gymnasiums inside one unit. And so you can play basketball there, run track, play American football, soccer. There's a lot of different things going on, and it's open usually, I think, from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. in the fall, or 9 or 10 p.m. in the fall. And then the hours are a bit different in the winter. But that's also where we write our exams. So the U of A has a great recreational program where whatever sport you like to play, it's available there. And you can also have the opportunity to learn a new sport or join a club with friends. So definitely do take advantage of that because all those resources are out there.
Gokul, do you want to add on to that?
That's almost pretty much it. But one more thing is that there are intramurals that happen during the fall sem, and there's also a futsal tournament that happens in the winter sem, which is basically five-a-side soccer indoors. Uh, and there, as Jeffrey mentioned, there's the indoor football for winter sem and two outdoor fields for the fall and summer sems. Yeah, pretty much it.
Okay. Is it advisable to pick more than 5 classes per term? Arithro?
Yeah, so I think in engineering you have to be taking 6 courses in your first year. I think that's mandatory, and I'm not entirely sure about second year, but I believe engineering the workload is very heavy. In other courses and other departments, it is not advisable to take over 5 courses, and certain departments don't allow you to take more than 5 courses. So you have to figure that out with the faculty in the department you're in. But no, personally, I would not recommend more than 5 courses because it's just a lot of work. It's definitely that's why I said when you come into university, I would definitely recommend you to first adjust to your courses and see how many you're comfortable with. Of course, different students have can cope with higher pressure levels, but since it's like for most people coming from Indian boards, it's a very different academic style with very different demands as well. So it does take time to adjust to it. So I would not recommend you to take more than 5, and it also really hampers the free time you have to socialize with in first year, which you would want to do and is kind of a requirement as well. So yeah, stick to 5 unless you're in engineering.
Jeffrey, do you want to comment on that?
Yes, I do. That was a great answer, through. But something I want to add. So I'm currently doing my master's at U of A, but I also did my undergrad degrees at U of A, and that was a BSc and a BA. And honestly, what I found is that the semesters where I performed best, I was taking 6 classes. So you have to go and get permission to take that extra class. But what I found for myself is that when I'm taking 6 classes, like all my attention is going to school because I know I'm under that time crunch or pressure. So that's personally what worked for me. But another strategy I had was one class would be a night class. And every semester of both my degrees, I made sure I had a night class in there because I'd only have to worry about it for 3 hours in the evening once per week. And the final exam would be written about 10 days before the other final exams. So you get one exam out of the way. And when I took 6 classes, one of the classes would be an evening class, and another class would be online. So the exam structure can vary for those classes, but the benefit of having a class online is that you don't actually have to go sit in class or fit it into your schedule. It's a bit differently, so you kind of study at your own pace. So that being said, as a first year coming in, just feeling out, checking what university is, go lighter, just so you know yourself and you can kind of pace yourself appropriately. Because taking 4 classes, which all have labs like physics, chemistry, and 2 biology courses, that would be a very hectic semester for you. Or a semester where you're taking like anatomy and organic chemistry, like that would be very heavy. Whereas if you're taking a subject that comes more naturally to you, so for me, that was like economics, sociology, I could easily take 5 or 6 classes doing that. So all of us have different strengths. So know your strengths and challenge yourself based on what works for you.
Amazing. I think there's a question again on when does course registration start. Jeffrey, can you take over?
Right. So course registration, you would have gotten the ability to start enrolling in courses in mid-March to early April, after your admission had been processed and you were offered conditional acceptance. And enrolling in the classes for fall and winter will continue right up until the middle of September. So 10 business days from the start of fall classes. And then the add drop deadline for fall classes would be in the middle of September, and then you can't change your schedule anymore without accepting a grade of W withdrawal. And then for winter, it'd go right up until the middle of January, so 10 business days after classes have commenced. So you have a lot of time to play around with your schedule, see what works for you. I also highly recommend when you're building your schedule, check the exam schedule too. It's not set in stone, but that's generally what they will be using. And you don't want to structure your schedule in such a way that you have 5 exams in 3 days or something like that. So, especially because you guys are coming into first year, whether it be like Eng 130, not Eng 130, but like Chem 103 or Psychology 104 or an English class, like these all have multiple sections, sometimes 5 sections. I think the English classes have like up to 20 sections each. So you can adjust the time slot you're in for what gives you a more favorable exam schedule.
When can we apply for an on-campus residence? Aratro?
Yeah, so you should have been able to apply for on-campus residence the moment you got your acceptance offer. And once you apply for it, it takes, you hear back. If you're applying in fall, you definitely hear back by June and July. And that's the latest. I heard back slightly earlier as far as I remember. And for all first year international students, there is guaranteed residence for international students first years in Lister Hall as well as PLH. And as far as to my best of knowledge, even during COVID pandemic, they are giving you guaranteed residence if you do decide to come in fall. But that's entirely up to you. You can also, I think, come in delayed. Like I myself will be coming in delayed into residence, and there's a form that you have to fill up for that, and they'll let you know.
Pranidhi, do you have something to say on the previous question?
Yeah, I was just wanting to basically point out that yes, it's okay if you would like to start with fewer number of courses, but if your intention is to get the work permit post your undergrad or anything on those lines, work permit is only in most cases provided for full-time students only. So be wary of that. That if you don't take a full course load, which I believe for undergrad is 5 courses per semester, then that would be, Jeffrey, thank you for the clarification. So 4 classes is also considered full, more than 3 courses is considered full-time. So make sure that you're not dropping under the full-time status, because that will then prevent you from applying for any work permit.
Amazing. Are we supposed to do any thesis if we are honors CMPUT to be specific? Jeffrey, do you have any comments on that?
Sorry, what was the question? I was just dealing with the question.
Are we supposed to do any thesis if we are in honors CMPUT to be specific?
Yeah, so if you're in an undergraduate program and it's an honors degree, most of those programs do have a thesis and there's a research component, but it's very department specific. So you would need to talk more with your department to find out. I know for economics, for people who did an honors degree in that, there was a final paper and research involved. So yeah, check with your department, but that will only affect you in year 3, year 4. And I know a lot of people, they come into undergrad with one plan, but first year happens and then they go into a completely different direction. So it's very hard to project where you will be 4 years from now or where you think you'll end up even 3.5 years from now.
Jasprit, do you have anything to add to that?
So undergrad does have honors too, but thesis makes it more grad specific. If you're an undergrad student and you are enrolled in honors computer science, you do, for computer science at least, you do not need to do any thesis related work.
That's great. I can see someone wrote about internet disruptions. We are uploading the video again in our website, so you can go back and check it out again and again. Maybe next time you can come up with a pen and paper and take down notes as it goes. So yes, it's available again. So do not worry about it. It's crazy. Everything virtual happens all the time. Data science IT opportunities in Edmonton, and about ease of relocating to Vancouver and Toronto. Sham, do you want to comment about that? As far as Edmonton, regarding the IT jobs, Edmonton and Calgary are more focused with a lot of startup-based companies. So it's much easier it's always easier if you want to relocate to other provinces, but that entirely depends on your job offer. If you already have a job offer, then it's easier to relocate. Sham will add more information on the job
I
opportunity.
like as far as data science, there are only few companies in Edmonton. Like when you move to the Vancouver and Toronto, there are more like jobs related to data science, which is a booming like topic right now. And like among the three others like full stack, data science, and DevOps. As far as data science is concerned, like everything in the world is connected to data, so everywhere like where you go the jobs will be related to data science. If we search, like it's increased, the jobs are increasing day by day. That's it.
Yep, amazing. How can one become president of INSA? With a lot of upvotes, I can see. So first, you have to be a member of the Indian Students Association. You can join next year in one of the MAL positions, the members at large, or one of our executive positions. And with enough experience, next year you can apply for one of the VP positions, and hopefully you can become president one day. So I was with INSA last year. I was with INSA as a spokesperson, and I'm happy to be president this year. I have an amazing team to back me up all the time, and I hope you do get to experience the inside workings of student groups and add it to your resume. Amazing. Thank you so much, team. Um, will there be any reductions in tuition as it is online? Arithro?
As of now, unfortunately, no. And don't worry about it because, I mean, you can worry about it a little because a whole lot of us, including myself, we were a part of this whole petition signing and everything to try to get the university to reduce their fee. But there hasn't been any announcement as of yet. I think there was some discussion about certain departments agreeing to reduce fees, but certain departments refusing to do that. So it's honestly all very complicated right now, and there's no final decision. But yeah, as of now, there's no reduction of fees, even if you're doing your courses online at home. So yeah.
What are the best phone service providers? Mehul?
Yeah, sure. I can speak for the best phone providers. Of course, there are a lot of companies that provide phone services. There are a lot of ranges for you to select from too. The three major players in Canada are Rogers, Bell, and Telus. They're sort of the most major companies that facilitate these services, mobile services. So if you want to choose Rogers, Bell, and Telus, those guys are big companies and they usually provide, I'll just give you an example. Uh, I think TELUS provides around 10 GB internet and above that. So they provide more higher data as per your requirement. So the cost will accordingly be higher as well. But as a student personally, I'd say there are low cost providers too, such as Kudo, Virgin, Fido, Lucky, and Freedom. Kudo is by TELUS and Virgin is a sole provider and Fido is by Bell, I think. I'm not sure. So these guys provide low data, low phone communication and everything like that, pre-Canada calling, of course. Uh, I know for certain Kudo and Virgin have free India calling for a limited number of time, which is in the plan, included in the plan. So these things would be really beneficial for you to communicate back home, these plans. So yeah, these are some of the major players in Canada. You take a mobile network that suits your needs and a data that would do your monthly requirements and help you contact home and stuff. Yeah.
Will they have grades in fall semester? So we did not have no grading. That was only for the winter semester where we were just allocated credit or no credit. So from this summer and the spring and for the fall, we will have grades assigned. Any tips for first year computing science students? Just breathe.
Okay. There are things that I wish I knew before coming to uni, and I would be more than happy to tell that to others. If you're a specialization student or a general computer science student, you will be doing Computer 174 and Compute 175. Now they've mentioned that it's a beginner's course and you need no programming experience or like no programming knowledge. As far as what I've experienced, because I did computers in school, but I did have friends who took those courses just because it was mandatory for their their faculty, like they had to take it, and they had no programming experience beforehand, and it was hard for them because they don't exactly teach it as an extremely beginner course. So if you have time on your hand, I would recommend learning basics of Python before you come. Obviously, the professors are there to help. They're always happy to help. They have office hours and stuff. They would be more than happy to clear your doubts. But if you're the sort of student who just is not confident in approaching people, I would really recommend that you learn the basics of Python before coming. Now, a first year, if you're a first year computer science student, but in honors, you will be doing Compute 274 and 275. Now, this too is a beginner's course with no programming knowledge required, but yet again, it always depends on your grasping speed. For 274, 275, you do start with Python, but that's just for a few weeks, if I remember correctly, and eventually you start learning C++. plus plus. So if you don't have any prior knowledge in C++, I would recommend yet again do it on YouTube, do it on Codeme, and get your basics right so you're not lost in class. And because it's an honors course, it is comparatively harder. And 174, 175, it sounds like a piece of cake. It is for some people, but it just depends on how much how much effort you're willing to put in. Now, there's about labs. If you're a computer science student, you are going to have labs. There are labs that already have their own computers, and some labs will require you to get your own laptop. So if you want, you could always contact the faculty and ask them which lab has computers, which one you have to bring your own. Because if your battery dies, your laptop battery dies, and you have to submit your lab on that day, you are kind of going to be stuck in that situation. I would always suggest taking a lab that already has computers, because even though they have computers, you can use your own laptop. That's what I did. I just kept the computers as backup. And this one is not very specific to computer science, but you also said first year science students. If you're not a morning person, do not take morning classes because you end up skipping them. And for classes such as computer science, it is mostly you need to be sitting in class to understand what is happening. You can't just miss a slide, and because everything's related. Computer science, every single thing is related. So don't take morning classes for computer science if you're not going to get up and go there. And if you're really good at it, like beforehand, and there are topics you just already know, then of course it's your decision what you want to do with that. But take care of that.
I think you have a follow-up question. What kind of computer science experience do you need to apply for internships in summer?
Okay. So if you're applying for science internship program, you do not need prior experience. Science internship program helps you get that experience. And there's one thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning, and I think it's really important for students. All science internship program positions are paid. You are going to be paid, and it's not always a minimum wage. You do get competitive payments for those, like your salary or whatever you're getting. And you could always go with no prior experience. If you do have experience, I think it's better for you because you get better jobs. Like people who want more experience, like you have a higher chance at getting that job. But mostly, I would just suggest that you create personal projects. But if you're coming to university as a first year student, nobody expects you to have personal projects already, like because you're learning in your first year. So in your second year or second sem, whatever you learn from Pygame and Python, you could just always apply them, create small games, and have fun. Like, you need to have fun when you're coding, because that's when you actually enjoy it.
What is the accommodation scene for females for who are staying outside the campus and how safe it is. So I'm staying outside the campus, but I do stay quite nearby, like 5 streets away. Edmonton is a really safe place, but we do have to remember that any place, if you are at a wrong place and a wrong time, can be dangerous. So at least in the first year, I do suggest you not to explore the city during nighttime. So downtown does have a lot of homeless people. So be aware and make sure you do visit downtown during the daytime. White Ave, the place where I stay in, which is really close to the university, have a lot of students in it, but that doesn't mean it is safe if you go out at 2 a.m. in the night. So make sure you are not out there in the odd timings. Other than that, Edmonton is pretty much safe. Um, are your jobs paid now in INSA? No, INSA is a volunteer organization. We take pleasure in providing support to people like you who come to University of Alberta, and we do not expect to be paid in return for that. Is vegetarian food generally available around campus? Mehul?
Yes, vegetarian food is an option if you decide to stay in the residences, Lister or probably Peter Lougheed or any one of the residences. Vegetarian food is an option. They have vegan food, they have vegetarian food, they have non-dairy, and everything you need, everything, anything of your dietary requirements. You just need to inform the coordinators who take care of the your meal plans. They arrange food or they help you get those food in time, and I'm pretty sure you won't be left out with any meal if you don't get any vegetarian food. And as far as it goes for packaged food or getting food from outside, yes, there are vegetarian options as well. Of course, I wouldn't say it's as as widely available as in India, but there are vegetarian options, pretty good vegetarian options. Sometimes I switch back to vegetarian too. So yeah, you can easily get vegetarian food.
There are also other restaurants on campus like Savoy's, which are a Savoy's vegetarian. I think it's vegetarian, but yeah, there are so many
Not
other
a
options.
place where it has vegetarian food.
Okay, you do get vegetarian food, Indian vegetarian food on campus in the hub, so you can check that out. Um,
Just to add something else, if you have any sort of allergies as well, for example, gluten allergies or anything like that, just inform your meal plan coordinator or someone. You have options available for that as well.
what dorms are available for international students for fall in case we manage to get to the university, even if it's for online classes? Retro?
Yeah, so the Schaefer Hall in Lister will be open, which is one of the halls out of the other four. So Schaefer Hall will be open for international first years. So if you do want to come, you will have a residence offer. PLH is the other first year residence that's for first years international students as well. I'm not entirely sure if that's open, but I know Lister Schaefer Hall is, and you can go in fall if you want to. If because we all know doing online classes and time difference, etc., can be bothersome, getting used to the weather, etc. So yeah, if you're an international student and you do want to go in fall and you want to live in residence, that option is available.
What is more preferable, on campus or off campus accommodation? Arithro?
So if you're a first year, I would definitely recommend that you stay on campus because this is honestly where you make most of your friends. If you're living in Lister, it's a dorm life, so you're gonna make a whole lot of friends. There'll be a lot of social events and social activities, and these are usually the friends that stick with you for the rest of your university. As much as like the idea that you make friends in classes, it doesn't happen that often. It does happen, but it's not as often. Your primary point of making friends will be at residence. So if you're a first year, I definitely recommend you to stay in residence. If you're staying off campus, there's a whole lot of options nearby university as well, and you're welcome to stay there and you can pay a rent. And yes, it is usually cheaper than living on residence. And there's a lot of options on White Avenue. There's options in downtown. Then there's this area right near university called McKernan Belgravia where you can live. So there are a whole bunch of options living off campus too, and you can do it whenever you want. I have friends who moved off campus after their first year. So, but yeah, and so yeah, like there's a lot of options, but I definitely recommend staying on campus in your first year.
What are the approximate living expenses for staying on campus and off campus? So I stay off campus. I stay in a 3-bedroom shared by 2 other people. So I have a separate room. And my rent is around 400 CAD. For food, it comes around 150. So I would say it's around 550 to 600, depends on how much I plan to eat, I guess. Retro can comment on campus.
Yeah, so on campus there are various residence buildings on campus, and it differs from each building. Certain buildings are more expensive than the others. Certain are comparatively cheaper. But yeah, on an average, living on campus, the rent is a little higher compared to living off campus. And for having I can give you some numbers at the top of my head. So most of the time it's going to be around 650 to 700. That's going to be your rent. And then of course if you're living in Lister or Peter Lougheed Hall, the meal plan is mandatory. So you also have to chip in for the meal plan. And yeah, so for more accurate numbers, you can go to the University of Alberta residence webpage. Just Google University of Alberta residence, and then it'll open up, and it also has the rents, the monthly rents, how much would it cost in a year, how much would it cost with meal plan. It has all those information. University of Alberta residence. Just Google that.
What are the best ways to get to Edmonton? Which airlines? Mehul?
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of routes that you can choose to go through. I'm just going to pick up two major routes, Mumbai and Delhi. Of course, there are a lot of airlines you can choose from, what you prefer and what sort of memberships you have with airlines. For example, I have a membership with Star Airlines, so I usually prefer airlines that go through Star Airlines. The most famous route, if you want to get directly to Edmonton, is from KLM. So they fly from Mumbai or Delhi and then to Amsterdam and then to Edmonton. Of course, there's Lufthansa also. Lufthansa flies from Mumbai, Delhi to Frankfurt, to Toronto, and then to Edmonton. I'd say try to avoid flights that go from US if you don't have a US transit visa, because usually you're not allowed to transit from US if you do not have a transit visa. Check on some other countries too, because they might have restrictions as well. I'm not sure if UK does, but some other countries do have it. Again, one of the other famous routes which is closed for now. It might open up again. Is Air Canada, which goes from Delhi to Vancouver to Edmonton, or Mumbai to Toronto to Edmonton. There's Cathay Pacific also if you want to fly through China or Hong Kong. So it goes from Mumbai, Hong Kong, Vancouver, and Edmonton. So you'd have to take a layover in one of the major cities if you want to travel to Edmonton, because the only major route from international flights for Edmonton are from Amsterdam. From I think Lufthansa stopped it, but they had it before, and US connections. So avoid US connections if you do not have a transit visa. Otherwise, you can take the rest of the other things I told you about.
Because US can get costly. Um, Other co-op options for students who have applied for Augustana campus? Mehul or Mehak, any idea?
I think I can answer for that. I do not think there are any co-op opportunities for Augustana as of now, but they do encourage you to work part-time, and they help you get research jobs or things like that on campus. If I had to speak for one major program or faculty, I mean the Faculty of Science within Augustana, there isn't a co-op opportunity as of yet, but you get limited amount of work opportunity through clubs and through part-time jobs and helping your professor out and things like that. So yes, you can avail those opportunities.
If most of my classes are morning classes in my first year, can I change the timing of classes? Tanushi?
Sorry, what? What was the
Um,
question? I'm sorry.
can they change the timing of the classes if the classes are morning?
So you can change it, but for that you would have to drop the class first and then retake it, and that might hinder with your like your whole schedule, because you might not get into the timing that you want to, but it's like a chance that you can take. Like if like there are not many, but you should definitely check the number of people who have already registered and enrolled for the class, because if there is only one spot that left, then it might be in someone's wait list, which is something that like some other student might want to get into the same timing, or so if you don't get into the timing that you want, you would have to go back to the morning timing, and that might hinder with your schedule, and you might not be able to reschedule it and enroll for it again. So if you're doing that, like it's a tricky business, so make sure that you drop it, like you have a plan before you drop it, because after you drop it, you can't really tell your faculty to like enroll you back in. So you should definitely it's tricky, so if you want to do it, be very sure about it.
Yeah, I'd just like to. That was a great answer, and what I'm going to say is not really related to what Tanuchi said. It's just I saw a question on the Slido asking about that this person had applied for. They applied as a full-time student, but on their bare tracks it says you're a part-time student. That's not an error. That's only because you probably have not enrolled in your courses. And the moment you enroll in more than 3 courses on your bare tracks, it's going to say you're a full-time student. So yeah.
If possible, can we shift our campus from Augustana to main campus? Mehak?
Yeah. So for sure, you can do that. You can transfer from the Augustana campus to the main campus. But for that, for certain courses, I'd say you need a certain amount of classes. You need to take them before you can attend a course in the main campus. I could speak for business. Like for business, we need to attend the pre-professional year in the Augustana campus and fulfill a certain amount of credits and classes in there before entering the business school. So in order to apply and transfer to the main campus, you reapply in the you apply in for the main campus as you apply for the Augustana campus, and if you're eligible, if you also it's on a competitive basis. But also there is guaranteed admission for certain courses. So you should be aware of the major deadlines for guaranteed admission and for applications going on, and you'll be easily be able to transfer to the main campus if you're eligible.
Are there any major differences between campuses in U Alberta? Mehul?
Yes, actually, there are around, if I'm not wrong, if there are around 6 to 7 campuses in U Alberta. There are very major differences in all the campuses. Just take an example of Augustana. Augustana is around 100 kilometers away from Edmonton, but of course, it just takes 1 hour to travel. It's very easy traveling. Uh, there like the facilities available there are completely different. I'm sorry, I think it's 5 campuses. I might be wrong in that case, but to be sure, just visit the U Alberta website. And there's Campus Saint Jean. It's the French campus. It's completely different from the North campus as well. And then there's South campus, usually for recreational students, for people who take physio courses and stuff like that, kinesiology, and yeah. So yeah, those are the main differences between the campuses. There's North Campus, Augustana. There's Center Enterprise. I think it's in the city downtown, which offers major graduate courses or people who want to gain certificate who are in management positions. There's Campus Saint Jean if you want to take French courses, and yeah, I think that's about it from most campuses, and they're completely different from each other, very diverse, but very connected.
Is driver's license worth it? Mehul?
Sure, I can answer that. Answer to that. As of the law right now, I'd say that most people don't know this, but if you're talking about India, your Indian driving license works with the U Alberta ID. So if you have an Indian driving license and if you have an ID card with you, you can rent cars or get cars. However, the main problem would be to get your insurance. But just to be on the safer side, I would recommend you to get an Alberta license as soon as you can, because your Indian driving license will only be applicable till the time you're a full-time student. No, actually, the thing is, you can use your Indian driving license for the entire time you're a full-time student. So that's not a problem for you. Your license should be in English, so that's a mandatory requirement. And again, it's really safe for you to get Alberta license as well.
Um, are residences equipped with unlimited high-speed wireless internet? Jeffrey?
Yes, they are. It's like
Yeah, the whole campus is covered in the UWS, which is the university Wi-Fi. So it's accessible everywhere. But what I've heard from some people is that there are some points in the buildings where the Wi-Fi is not so strong. So you need to find those hot spots and those cold spots. I know some friends don't like working in residence because they feel it's too loud or too many distractions, so they come to the campus to study or work. So you have to find what works for you, whether that be in your room or in the main lounge in the residence or in the campus itself. And it seems like we've had quite a few questions, so I'm just going to breeze through them. So somebody asked, what kind of devices would you recommend? I would recommend bringing a good laptop from India if you can, just so you're not out searching for laptops here, paying high fees here. So if you can bring something that you know will be reliable, get it in India. iPad, that kind of stuff, if you're more comfortable with Apple, then go ahead, but you won't need both, either a tab or a laptop itself. And preferably you'll have a phone that you can bring to, and then just reuse that, but you'll need a new plan when you come. The sort of examinations conducted at the U of A, so it really varies, but generally it's a paper examination for most classes, and it'll be held at the end of the semester. So all of the exams are bunched together over a 2-week span. Some classes might have practicals, like the Faculty of Nursing, for example. Other classes might just have a final project or a capstone. So it really depends, but all of that is put in the course outline. So check your course outline at the beginning of the semester. Personally, I like to contact professors before the semesters begin, just so I can check out all of the dates and match it accordingly and put in my calendar. So if you get the course outlines in advance, then you'll know what the grading scheme is, and you'll know whether you have a final exam or not. So for commuting, a lot of students live on campus. I would say about 5,000 in the residences, and then many more live in the surrounding area in the neighborhood of White Avenue. I personally commute to campus, and it's great because it takes me 45 minutes to get from home to campus, taking one bus and the train. So the train is great. So if you're looking for somewhere to live off campus, but easily accessible, I would recommend finding somewhere along the train line. So whether that be in the Southgate area or the Century Park area or in the downtown region, if you can find somewhere that's easily accessible to train, then coming to campus won't be a problem. When it snows heavily, a lot of things are indoors, so it's not as bad as you think, but you do need to dress warmly, especially if you're walking and waiting for the bus. Waiting 15 minutes out in the cold when it's minus 40, you can get frostbite if you're not dressed properly. So I think frostbite sets within 2 minutes, so you need to make sure you have good winter clothing. And when you're looking into finding somewhere to live, I would again recommend finding somewhere along the train line. Let's see, what other questions were there? So how is the campus? It's a beautiful campus. It's gorgeous in the summer. People come and pay to have their wedding photos done there. So you guys will appreciate how it looks, and it overlooks the river valley. So it's this big green space where the North Saskatchewan River flows through, sorry, and it separates the university from downtown. So it's just really scenic. Wintertime, it's not so pretty, but you guys won't be outside staring too
I
long.
think
You
it's
guys will
still
be
pretty.
okay, so it's up for debate. I don't think it's pretty when it's like super slushy and there's like mud and snow mixed, but that's my personal opinion. Um, and the commute to residence, all the residences are within 15 minutes walking of campus. So if you're living in Hub Mall, Lister Center, East Campus Village, that won't be a problem. And the services, engineering specific, as well as the general service, you guys are paying a lot of money to be at the U of A. They provide very good services. But the thing is, they don't come chasing you to provide these services. You have to go take advantage of it. You need to ask for help when you require help. You need to go ask the questions. How can I get this done? How do I do this? How do I accomplish this? The university hires lots of people and they pay them very good money to answer all of these questions to help you out to make sure you succeed here, whether it be as a student with your academics, whether it be with your physical health, your mental health, whether it be if you're facing problems, whether you're looking for a job or looking for a career after graduation. There are a lot of resources on the campus, but you need to be willing to go ask those questions and go out of your way to seek out the help you need. And let's see what else was there. I think there was one more question. Credit card. I would strongly recommend getting a credit card just so you can start building your credit. I don't know if you'll be eligible right away though, just because you would be a newcomer to Canada and you'll need to provide your address and a few other bits of information. So I would recommend applying, and if they pass you through, then yeah, definitely sign up. But also don't get caught on the trap of credit card. It's very easy to spend everything on your credit card and not keep track of the expenses and kind of go over your budget. So you do need to keep on the watch for that, as well as making sure that you're paying it on time so you don't have to pay the interest fees, which can get quite nasty. So yeah.
So what's the university doing to facilitate online learning, Mehul?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to answer that. What I was talking about with my other peers too is that the University of Alberta's software that you're going to be using for online classes, e-class, wasn't capable of handling around 30,000 students at once because the servers could not take so much load. Everything would freeze and stuff. So after the pandemic hit, the emergency response team and the ex-president of University of Alberta, who resigned, not resigned, he left us. So he and his team basically set out a huge task force to ramp up the e-class systems. So the e-class can now handle around 300 students at one class at once. So there's a lot of preparation going for you to push into online classes, go into discussions and all that stuff. Their team mentioned this on their press conference, and the University of Alberta itself took a lot of steps for you to join into classes, discuss with your professors, and how professors could facilitate the online learning better. Yes, this is of course a very major time. This is very uncertain time for every one of us. But I can assure you that the University of Alberta did its best for you to register to online classes and have that experience that you usually have during in-person classes.
So when they come to U of A during the winter, so where can they get the winter essentials? Tanushi, do
Yeah.
you wanna?
Sure, I would love to answer this question. So basically, because when we arrived in like our first years, it was mostly during fall, so we didn't have to actually bring a winter jacket. But according to my opinion, you should carry at least like a little bit of warm jacket with you while you're traveling, because it's going to be cold when you land in Canada. So it would be a good idea to have a nice jacket with you, which can protect you from the cold. And if you want to, you obviously have to shop when you reach there. I think a really good place to shop for winter coats and all of that would be the airport outlet mall, because you get a lot of options which are cheaper, and you don't have to you get a lot of options. You can like, it's a proper mall and you get a lot of cheaper options, and it would be a good idea for all students. Other places, like it all depends on like what you want to buy. So before you actually want to purchase the item, you should Google about it. Before like moving, you should have a bit of an idea like what kind of jacket you want. I have a down feather jacket which really protects me from the cold, and it should be a very good item if you want to like keep yourself save yourself from the cold during the winters, and save yourself from frostbites, because you don't want that. So a good jacket would be a very good idea for not getting frostbites. And yeah, if you talk about like if you want something near campus, like if you want to buy a jacket from some place near campus, then it should be the South Gate Mall, which is a really good place to actually shop for winter outfits and, like, you know, some Canada shopping if you want to do when you arrive for your family or anyone. So it's good idea to go there or to the airport outlet. Because I got my jacket from the airport outlet and the Southgate Mall, so definitely go there. And but for sure carry one jacket with you, which is gonna help you with the cold when you land. So yeah, thank you.
I'd
Mehak,
like
yeah.
to, yeah, I'd like to add on that. So for people coming in the winter term, you will land and you'll see snow all around, and it will be really, really cold for you. So in case you want to get your jackets and snow boots in India, you can buy them online. Unfortunately, Canadian and US brands do not deliver in India, and as of now, they more so because of COVID, they are not delivering. But you can check on Amazon and Decathlon websites. They do deliver, and they have good stuff, and they that will protect you from the low temperatures in here. Also, you can do one more thing. But if you're living on campus and you've been given your residence, you can order it online. Like if you want the Canadian and US brands or for that stuff, you can order it and you can set up a date for the online delivery and maybe keep a margin for 2-3 days in case something happens, and you can get it delivered on campus. This is something you can do in case of an emergency, because I understand it will be really cold if you come in the winter term and if you don't have a jacket. So yeah, that's what you can do.
I just want to
Um,
add to that. So what Mahak said is correct, and you can see a good winter jacket as an investment. So think of it as a 4-year investment. I would buy one when you come here, just because wherever you're coming from in India, they probably haven't seen -40 there. So come here, go to one of the department stores around the city, preferably at Western Mall or Southgate Mall, which is just a train ride away, and buy a good quality winter jacket from there. Make sure you get gloves too, because you don't want your hands to freeze. Make sure you get good winter boots, good socks, all your extremities. Make sure it's prepared for the winter here. And I guess also there was a few questions about banking. So I do strongly implore you, like, open up a savings account here. There are student accounts you can open up, and they won't charge you as long as you can provide proof of being a student. Some of them might have a minimum you need to keep. Some people ask what are the best banks. All the banks are good here. I bank with TD personally, so the Toronto Dominion Bank. Some people bank with Scotia, some people bank with the Royal Bank of Canada, RBC. So these are all good and valid banks you can check out. All across the country, they have branches everywhere that are easily accessible, so you can access your money, you can transfer money between checking and savings. Having a good bank account, having a bank account in Canada is important, just because you never know what expenses are going to come here. And especially when you start working, whether it be a summer part-time job or in your career otherwise, they will want to do direct deposit to your bank account, and it's most easy if you're doing it with a Canadian institution. So do that as soon as you land.
how to beat homesickness while studying abroad, Aratro?
Yeah, hi. So definitely that is a major issue that everyone will face and must face, and we've all heard, all of us in that panel, on this panel. So the best way that I would suggest to deal with it is definitely keep in contact with your parents back home. There's more than enough accesses to do that. There'll be internet at all times. You have your mobile phones and everything. So there's no issues with that. Like just Preet or somebody had mentioned, or Mac had mentioned, definitely get Indian food if that's something you're really attached to. Because food here is very different, and you're not like, even though there are a whole lot of great Indian restaurants over here, home from food just tastes different. Indian food from home just tastes a little better. So do stuff like that. And just remember that when you're going through homesickness, like, everybody around you is too. It's not just us Indians, it's all international students and domestic students, because all of you are leaving your homes for the first time and coming to university. The university on its own does have a lot of mental health services. It has its own mental health services, and there are helplines around Edmonton that you can contact if you're ever feeling really down. The university does take mental health issues very seriously. If you're living on residence, you will have RAs and residence assistants, and they literally get paid for you to come to them with any problems that you have, or if you're feeling uncomfortable about anything, not just with homesickness, but if anything's bothering you, if you need any help or query. Every floor in Lister does have two RAs, and they're there to help you out in residence. So yeah, and if there's anything that's bothering you, INSA as a whole, or if there's anybody in INSA that you know, you can definitely contact us. And we, being the Indian Students Association, will do our best to help you out and make you feel as homely as possible. And that's one of the primary purposes of having INSA, is to make all of you feel welcome and at home. So yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be great.
Um, how is the Faculty of Engineering? How is the staff and professors? How's the research and research facilities at the university? Costa?
Yeah, so I can answer.
Sorry.
Sure, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Gokul, if you want to go.
No, it's okay. You can go ahead.
All right. So research-wise, it's a pretty good university. We are ranked in the top 70s in the world. So Faculty of Engineering does have good grants coming in, but recently, due to the budget cuts from the government, there has been some investment diverted towards other resources. So the grants are not really being utilized for research. But otherwise, the faculty really has good professors, and I think there's a few professors who have won Meritus Awards as well, and they're globally recognized. So definitely, if you want to do research, it's a good place to come. Do make sure that you choose the professors and sort of look up the background very carefully before you join, so that they have enough funds to sort of facilitate the work you want to do. But overall, it's a really good faculty to come to.
Gokul, do you want to add on to that?
He pretty much summed up everything. So
Okay, amazing. Can GST account serve as your normal savings bank account? Mehak?
Yeah, I'd like to answer that. So GIC accounts are a separate investment in your bank, and assumingly it most of you must have chosen Scotiabank. So for that, once you have a GIC investment in the bank, you can when you arrive in Canada, you can simply visit the bank branch and tell them that you have invested a student GIC. And they will open a savings bank account and current bank account for you. So how does GIC work? They give you deposits on a monthly basis, and it's divided in for 12 months. So each month you get a certain fixed amount from your GIC account. So when we talk about savings account, your GIC is linked to your current account. So all your deposits from the GIC are transferred to your current account. Once they are transferred to your current account, you're free to do whatever you want with that. And checking account. And once it's in your checking account, you can use online transferring and transfer it to your savings bank account. So that's how it works. But basically, to answer your question, it's linked to your checking account.
Okay, I think we're running out of time. It's already been 2 hours. I'll try to scoot over as much as I can quickly. What is the package for IT jobs? I can see a lot of questions on IT jobs and packages. One thing that I really, really want you to remember is there is no mass recruitment like it happens in India. In India, we do know there's Infosys, TCS, and a lot of things that are willing to pay you lesser money and recruit a large bunch of people. But in Canada, things doesn't work like that. So there's a minimum wage for every job here, and for Alberta, it's 15 or it's 30 Canadian dollar per hour. That would amount to more than 50,000. So that's the base limit. And based on your previous experience and how you can contribute and what positions you are in, your pay scale can go higher accordingly. There are also questions on jobs for multimedia. there were a lot of questions on multimedia. I have roommates and friends who just graduated from multimedia, and they've been working on a lot of machine learning things. They're working for a startup. Another one of them is working for dealers. So if you are really interested into the data science stream in the multimedia, that's usually great. But I do know that a lot of people also go ahead and take up software related jobs. Can I defer my admission to January this year? That is based on your department. I suggest you reach out to the department and find that out. Where to pay tuition fee, and can you pay it in installments, and how much in each installment? So when you're an undergraduate, you get to pay tuition fee for every semester. And that is the installment. But if you're a graduate student who is employed in terms of GRAF, Graduate Research Assistant Fellow, like I am, I don't have to pay the tuition fee. I get a scholarship, and that kind of takes the tuition fee from my scholarship in installments, if that makes sense. So I'm employed to get 24,000 per year, but so that accounts to 1,200 per bi-weekly. So I would they would take around 400 for the tuition fee, and I would get 600 for the scholarship. So that's how they take out my tuition fee in installments. Can I apply for work permit after coming to Edmonton? Yes, you can. How to book a flight ticket via agent or online is the best option. I think that's entirely your preference. I did book my flights online by myself. I'm sure most of the execs here did that too. But also do know that I do know a lot of people who also book through agents. And if you can get a better deal, I suggest you explore both the options and get your ticket accordingly. But with INSA, we do have partnership with other travel agents. And if you do choose to book your ticket back home, we can provide better deals for you. Is it a good time to start my master's or defer to 2021? That's entirely your choice, and I don't think it would really affect if it's based on. I'm a thesis-based student, but if you're a course-based student, there's only some courses that you can take in the each term, and some of them could be your base courses. So I suggest you reach out to the department and contact them. Okay, I think we are almost ending a 2-hour limit. So if you have any more questions, I suggest you please reach out to INSA, INSA at Alberta CA, and we're always there to answer your questions. And I would like to take one more question. Are we allowed to celebrate Diwali in Canada without any legal problems? In fact, INSA is planning to celebrate Diwali in November. I don't know what legal problems you're referring to, but we chose to go eco-friendly. So we are not gonna burst crackers or anything like that. So yeah. So if you do join us in fall, we are looking forward to you celebrating Diwali with us. And over to Jaspreet.
Okay, I'm gonna answer some of the questions really quick, the ones that were repeated or had many upvotes. So somebody asked, if you make some sort of games in compute, how do you add them to your resume? Yes, it is one sentence. You add that I coded so and so game using so and so programming knowledge, and or whichever programming language, and you could always add a GitHub link, so you have credibility. So like, you're not just stating a sentence. I can say I coded Mario Kart, but like I have no proof for that.
So always add a GitHub link if you have a GitHub account. And if you don't have a GitHub account as a computer science student, make sure you make one. And this is an important question. If you find internships yourself without the help of university, can it still be included as a science internship program? Yes, but there are restrictions. You need to make sure that you contact the university and tell them about this job that you found out. And if you want it to be a science internship program, you still need to you need to make sure that the volunteer, the internship that you're getting, it is paid, because that is one of the criterias of a science internship program. It needs to be paid. And if you are in specialization, science internship program is mandatory for your course. You have to graduate with science internship program, because on your degree it's written that you are graduating with internship. However, under circumstances, you could come out of it, but that is very rare. So if you do find internships outside without the help of university, contact them if you want it to be converted as a science internship program. Any tips for first year science students? Always find out about your professors, because some students are more compatible with certain type of professors, their way of learning. Find out from your seniors. You could always use Reddit. There's ratemyprofessors.com. People write reviews there about how their experience has been with their professors. And always choose classes based on the timings that you are comfortable with. Don't be like, when I go there, I'll change my entire lifestyle and now I'll start waking up at 8 a.m. It doesn't change within a matter of a few weeks. So make sure you choose your timings based on that. How does student research work out during this fall? That is actually a very department specific question. So I can only answer for computer science as of now, and then I'll hand it over to someone else if they have more information. But one thing I could suggest you to do is just Google student research opportunities in U Alberta, and all the opening, like all the posts or all the opportunities which are present, they are there on U Alberta's link. So you could always check there, and you could always email your professors. And yeah, does anyone want to add on to that?
Yeah, so at least for the science, the university was closed for normal research, and it was only essential. It was open for only essential research. That happened for like a couple of months, and now from the 1st of the June, the university is open for other research as well. So UFA has been handling it really, really well. We've been getting weekly updates on any of the new informations. They've been providing free masks here. So UFA has been really handling COVID situation really well. So is Alberta. We have really controlled number of cases at the moment. And someone asked, would you consider Indian community in UFA united and strong? It is pretty much united and strong. You can all see people are waiting long hours to make sure they do answer every question of yours. So I do appreciate my team's effort in making sure that all your questions are answered. And I think with that, we should probably end the session. If you have any more questions, I strongly, strongly encourage you to email insa@ualberta.ca. We also have a match program where we are planning to pair up incoming students with the students already from their department. So that would be much more easier for you if you want to contact people who are already from your department. Maybe you can talk to them more about the job opportunities, what you can do, and how you can connect. And we're always there. I do know as an incoming student, you must be really, really anxious about U of A or Edmonton. All I can say is we are there as an organization. We are there to support you. We will help you in any way possible. So all to the parents out there, please do trust us with your kids, and we'll make sure they're safe and secure. So I do wish you best of luck. And we're really, really looking forward to seeing you all here in Edmonton at U of A. Have great events together, have a lot of fun stuff. So do not worry about it. It's going to be great. U of A is amazing. So do not fret about it. I know COVID came in between and messed up all our plans, but we are always stronger. We have always been stronger. So we can go through this together. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for being here with us for 2 hours. And I really, really would like to thank my team to bear with me for the intense planning, answering all your questions. They are an amazing team, and we are really, really looking forward to seeing you here. If you have any questions, I strongly encourage you to email us. We have our social media, Twitter, Facebook platforms. You can also reach us with those. Shoot us up with questions, and we'll make sure we will reply you as soon as possible. I think Pranidhi has an announcement to make.
No, I was just going to remind you about the Google Doc.
Oh yeah. So I still have all your unanswered questions here. I'm going to make a Google Doc, make sure every single one of your questions are answered. And all these are really great questions. I really know what it's like to not have any information and crossing 7 seas and going to a new place. So do not worry about it. We are here. We are here to help you, support you. The Google, I would probably give a week's time for all my team to get back to it, fill it up, and we will send out to the same emails that we have been contacting you. Thank you so much for your time, and have a really great day.
Also about the recording.
Oh yeah, the recording will be emailed to you. It will also be posted on our social media platforms, so you can look out for that.